Guns versus No Guns. It was never really about gun control. Written by Alan Corwin from AmericanHandgunner.com. Are you old enough to remember times before the great gun debate? Americans understood guns. Kids wore six-shooters. You bought caps in candy stores. We had candy stores back then. People took guns for granted, and political parties didn't battle over endless gun control blather. It was cops and robbers back then, remember? Today, the D and R parties, Democrat and Republican, are in a constant struggle over so-called gun control, and surprisingly, the C party, communists, are not even in the picture, though they really are, at least in communist China and Russia, Cuba, Venezuela, and across South America, Africa, and scattered across the globe. In fact, the C's, way hidden in so-called news, can't remain so hidden any longer because they've taken over our prescription drugs. This, because of the Wuhan plague, our lost manufacturing base, and wait for it, the sad fact that 1.2 billion Chinese communist subjects, they're not citizens, are gunless and under the threat of execution from their armed Chi-Com masters. It's not about guns versus gun control any longer, as American news sources frame it. It's about guns versus no guns, and the C party runs it. The C party, along with the D party, are philosophically allied here. You'd see this truth on nightly broadcasts if they were newsworthy. Some officials are in both parties at the same time. Look closely to see the dots connect. The news actually presents it almost despite themselves, but with so much window dressing, it's admittedly hard to see. One candidate for president ran as a democratic socialist with policies and philosophies straight out of Stalinist Russia and Karl Marx. But we don't even have to go there. Just look at the official platform of the D Party supporting him, cheering him on wildly. Look at the policies of the D Party reflected explicitly in writing in the platform they stand for in the gun bill they're proposing to enforce against us. No shame, no secret. It's there on the government server. H.R. 5717. What? The so-called news media isn't screaming about it every night? Guns are okay, as long as they don't work. I know this sounds absurd and impossible, but there it is. Again, it's the exact policy the D Party had in our nation's capital until the famous Heller case at the U.S. Supreme Court overturned in 2008 by a single vote. You could have a gun at home only. If you could get one, nearly impossible in practicality, as long as it was unloaded and locked up. Mr. Heller's private gun was okay. He was a federal security guard, while inoperable. If he was criminally attacked at home, while the attack was on, he could unlock and load it. A Harrington and Richardson 9-shot 22 caliber revolver, making it functional, otherwise was criminal. I'm not making this up. It's why we won the case by one vote. The D Party has recreated the bill with one change. If it passes, it covers the entire nation, not just the District of Columbia. Don't take my word for it. Read H.R. 5717. Don't wait for reporters to read it to you. They won't. They never do. Folks, it's guns versus no guns, just like the communists. Read the table of contents. You'll freak out. Democrats don't even want accountability. The plan is to assign lockups to bureaucrats you don't vote for, can't name, and can't see. Hoplophobic consumer product safety experts, not constitutionally guaranteed elected property guardians, will do the dirty work. News media keeps parroting. They just want to ban what they call assault rifles. The written bill proposes banning virtually all guns with a magazine and a grip. Yes, any characteristic that can function as a grip. How did reporters miss this? How did you? It's how the communists work. It's the guns versus no guns struggle. You should know the Communist Party of America and the Socialist Party of America, almost the same thing except for minor policy differences and battles among leadership, hold regular meetings in public with modest fanfare. You should also know members of the D Party give speeches there, attend the meetings, share friends, and the media doesn't play this up for obvious reasons. Well, you do know Bernie is proud of it, thinks communist Cuba is a cool place, media touched on that, and took his honeymoon in communist Russia. I did say look, and the dots connect. Now, the D Party wants to change how we vote. 1 man, 10 votes in Congress by proxy and publicly by mail. Blame it on the communists' propagated Wuhan flu. Remember, Comrade Stalin's playbook, it doesn't matter who votes, it matters who counts votes. You should definitely vote, because an overwhelming vote is harder to hide. And do cling to your guns and Bibles. Alan Corwin's website features plain English books on state and federal gun laws for the public and more common sense like you just read. He invites you to write to him or see his work at gunlaws.com, where you can get books and DVDs that will help keep you safe.